What if courage was not about winning, but about refusing to kneel? What if the fate of an entire continent rested not on armies, weapons, or numbers, but on the decision of a single man to stand his ground? This is not a story about victory. This is a story about defiance. About sacrifice. About a stand so powerful that even defeat became a form of immortality. More than 2,500 years ago, in a narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae, one man made a choice that echoed through time. His name was King Leonidas of Sparta, and though he fell in battle, history remembers him as the man who saved Europe by standing alone. Chapter 1: A World on the Edge. In the 5th century BCE, the known world was dominated by one unstoppable force: the Persian Empire. Stretching from modern-day Iran to Egypt, from Central Asia to the borders of Europe, it was the largest empire the world had ever seen. At its head stood King Xerxes I, a ruler who believed he was chosen by destiny to rule all lands. To Xerxes, Greece was not a rival, it was unfinished business. Years earlier, his father, King Darius, had suffered humiliation at the Battle of Marathon. Now Xerxes wanted revenge. Not just conquest, but submission. He gathered an army so massive that ancient historians claimed rivers ran dry when they drank. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Warriors from dozens of nations. Archers, cavalry, elite guards known as the Immortals. And in their path lay Greece, a land of independent city-states, often divided, often arguing, but fiercely proud of their freedom. Chapter 2: Sparta, a city built for war. Among all Greek city-states, one stood apart. Sparta. Sparta was not rich. It was not artistic. It was not democratic. Sparta was disciplined. From the age of 7, Spartan boys were taken from their families and trained for war. Pain was a teacher. Fear was an enemy. Death was accepted. Spartans did not fight for glory. They fought because it was their duty. And their king, Leonidas, was no exception. Unlike other kings, Leonidas was trained like any Spartan citizen. He knew hunger. He knew hardship. He knew what it meant to stand in formation, shield to shield. He was not born expecting to rule. But when fate placed the crown upon his head, he carried it with quiet strength. Chapter 3: The Warning from the East. When word reached Greece that Xerxes was coming, panic spread. Some city-states chose surrender. Others argued endlessly. Few were truly prepared. Messengers from Persia arrived, demanding the traditional symbols of submission: earth and water. Many cities complied. When Persian envoys reached Sparta, they demanded the same. Leonidas listened in silence. Then, according to legend, he replied, "Come and take them." With those words, war became inevitable. Chapter 4: A Decision Against All Odds. Leonidas knew the truth. Sparta alone could not stop Persia. Even all of Greece together would struggle. But there was one place where numbers meant less. A narrow coastal pass between mountains and sea, Thermopylae. The Hot Gates. There, the Persian army could not surround them. There, skill and discipline could matter more than size. Leonidas asked Sparta for its full army. Politics intervened. Religious festivals. Traditions. The answer came back: no. So Leonidas made a decision that would define history. He would go anyway. Not with thousands. Not with an army. With 300 Spartan warriors, each one chosen not for strength alone, but because each had already fathered a son. Men who would leave a legacy behind. Chapter 5: The March to Thermopylae. As Leonidas marched north, other Greek forces joined him: Thespians, Thebans, and allies. Altogether, fewer than 7,000 men. Facing an empire. When the Persian army finally arrived, their numbers were overwhelming. Xerxes believed victory was inevitable. He waited 4 days, expecting the Greeks to flee. They did not. On the 5th day, Xerxes sent a final message to Leonidas: "Lay down your arms." Leonidas replied with words that would become eternal: "Molon Labe. Come and take them." Chapter 6: The First Day of Battle. The Persians attacked. Wave after wave. But the narrow pass worked exactly as Leonidas intended. The Spartans fought in perfect formation. Their shields locked. Their spears precise. Persian soldiers fell by the hundreds. Even the elite Immortals failed to break the line. Xerxes watched in disbelief. This was not how empires were conquered. Chapter 7, The second day, stubborn defiance. The second day brought more attacks. More losses. The Spartans rotated fighters to maintain strength. They fought calmly, methodically. To the Persians, it seemed inhuman. But discipline had its limits. And betrayal was coming. Chapter 8, The betrayal. A local Greek named Ephialtes revealed a hidden mountain path to the Persians. A way around the pass. By nightfall, Leonidas knew the truth. They were surrounded. Chapter 9, The final choice. Leonidas gathered his commanders. They could retreat. Some could escape. Leonidas dismissed most of the allies. He stayed. So did the 300 Spartans. So did 700 Thespians, who refused to leave. They knew what morning would bring. They chose to stay anyway. Chapter 10, The last stand. At dawn, the Persians attacked from both sides. The Greeks fought without fear. Spears broke. Swords shattered. Hands and teeth became weapons. Leonidas fell. The Spartans fought to recover his body. Surrounded, exhausted, wounded. They fought until the last man fell. Chapter 11, Defeat that became a victory. Thermopylae was lost. But Greece was not. The delay allowed Greek city-states to unite. Athens prepared its navy. Persia was eventually defeated. Xerxes returned home, not as a conqueror, but as a warning. Chapter 12, Why this story still matters. Leonidas did not win the battle. He won something greater. He proved that freedom is defended not by numbers, but by resolve. That sometimes, standing your ground changes history, even if you fall. At Thermopylae stands a simple inscription. Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. The final question. Leonidas stood when retreat was easier. He fought when surrender was safer. And because of that choice, the world changed. So the question remains. When history asks you to stand, will you?